What's going on, everybody? I am making some breakfast. I decided to go live before I finished making the breakfast so that we could chill out and sit down and actually eat the breakfast while we're having a conversation. So it usually takes people a few minutes to hop on here, so I figured I would just wrap it up. Making some waffles, some sausages. I guess you could call them sausages. I'm plant-based, so I don't actually consume sausages, but I'm eating some fake sausages, some hash browns, and yeah, some waffles. Probably should include some fruits in there, so we'll chop up some, you already know, some oranges. We'll get right into it. So for those of you that are here, hello. For those of you that are not yet here, hello in the future. I don't really know what we're going to talk about. What's going on, Panda Fang? You are the first commenter. Hope all is going well, but this is an open chat, dude. I'm here to just talk about literally whatever. So please do let me know what's on your mind. Give me some things to actually converse about, so I'm not here just talking to the air. But I figured that I'm just trying to stream more regularly. Still not super good at like scheduling the streams out. But yeah, I'll get there at some point. So hopefully all's going well. Just making some breakfast. Figured I would have a conversation with you guys about whatever's on your mind. I just made a video. Somebody left me a comment on one of my videos saying, they were like, yo, you should just stick with talking about quitting weed. And it was on one of my workout streams. And I was kind of like, on one hand, I get it. Like, I get that it's like I've kind of built this following talking about quitting weed. But at the same time, it's like, I made the video originally because I was sort of looking for support. I didn't know how to get support. I've gone to therapy quite a bit over the years, which therapy is tremendously beneficial for all kinds of things. One second, gotta get my food. But one thing that I've talked to therapists over and over. I'm pretty good about being honest, with therapists about, what I'm going through. And so I made that video because I was like, I've spent all these years like trying things, going to therapy, reading books. But the reality is it's like I find myself over and over again back in an environment where all of my friends, smoke weed. And they even support me in overcoming it. But I didn't have anybody that really related to what I was going through. I made that video. Thousands of you have related to what I'm going through. But it's really that accountability from other people that ultimately helped me quit. And so, of course, I'm going to talk about working out. I'm going to show you what I'm doing working out. Of course, I'm going to talk about meditating. I'm going to show you what I'm going through when I'm doing those meditations and all the kind of thoughts that come to my head. That's what I, do with this channel. So anyway, Panda Fang asks, okay, well, random question then. I fish for scallops. Do you like scallops? I did like scallops back when I ate scallops. I know this is like a controversial thing about me, I guess, but I'm a vegan. I don't eat fish. I don't eat animals. I don't eat animal products, milk, chicken, eggs. Chicken's an animal. I don't eat eggs. So I mean, yeah, no hate to y'all that do. I just personally don't. But yes, back in the days when I ate scallops, I liked them. And scallops are one of those interesting ones in the vegan community where people are like, well, it's like a super single organism. Does it really feel anything? Is there really any, are you really doing any harm by eating a scallop? I don't know. I'm not here to answer that question. Panda Fang says, the weed journey is why I follow you, by the way. Struggles over a decade. Hey, I mean, you and 9,000 other people, Panda Fang. I've mentioned this a few times on this channel, but, or on these streams, but before I made that video back in January, I had like 800 subscribers, and I'd built that 800 subscriber following over like 10 years of just talking about all kinds of things. The first real wave of getting subscribers for me was back in the day, when I first learned about manifestation and astral projection, I was very actively practicing those things. And so I built, the majority of those followers came from, being, talking about astral projection, talking about manifestation. Hey, Recuperation 420, what's going on? How do you get your protein being vegan? Okay, so here's a controversial take, Recuperation. Everything has protein in it. Literally everything has protein. There are, and you're come to the right the right place because I used to make most of my money as a Jules. Okay, Jules. Nice to meet you, Jules. I'm Zach. I will refer to you as Jules from now on. But yeah, most of my income used to be from nutrition coaching. So here's the reality, right? All foods contain, you have 9 essential amino acids that you have to get from foods, right? Your body produces other amino acids, so you don't necessarily need them from food. But there are 9 amino acids that only come from food that you have to consume. Now, what most people don't understand is that all food actually contains all 9 amino acids. Oh man, that lighting is brutal. Okay, we'll sit in the window. Let me get something to like set the camera up. But yeah, all foods contain all 9 essential amino acids. The question is, how much percentage of your daily value of each amino acid do they contain? That's the thing about animal products, about chicken, fish, eggs, all these things. They do contain, in most single servings of any animal product, you can get 100% of all essential amino acids. With plant-based foods, it's not so much the case. There are a few, soy, and there's a lot of misinformation about soy, right? A lot of people talk about soy being estrogenic. Soy does not contain zoonotic estrogens. It only contains phytoestrogens. And so it doesn't actually raise your estrogen levels. And in fact, studies show that in men that have imbalanced estrogen levels, soy can actually help to decrease those overabundant estrogens. But it's like a common thing that a lot of people worry about. But yeah, so as a vegan, it's really just about eating diversity of foods, but most people need to be eating a diversity of foods. There is a lot of kind of pressure from, I don't know what you would call it, like fitness misinformation or whatever, that talks about how, sorry, I'm just like putting sauce on my food here. Got to make sure we don't leave our food bland, you know what I'm saying? Us white people, we be forgetting the seasoning. Yeah, so that's the answer. And it's a complex question, but it's like, the reality is like focusing on diversification, you will get those 9 essential amino acids. It's not that hard. The other thing is that most doctors, especially nutrition doctors, would argue that most people aren't lacking protein. Protein is not something that most people are lacking in general. What really tends to be lacking predominantly is fiber, right? And your gut microbiome is responsible for a significant amount of your mental health, a lot of your hormone balance. You can hear my dog like loudly consuming food and water in the background. So annoying. Just kidding. He's a good boy. So your gut microbiome, which is responsible for a huge amount of how you feel and your overall health, sustains itself off of fiber and various types of fiber, right? And so most people are not getting enough fiber, number one, but they're also not getting enough diversity of fiber. And so I've really never found protein to be a problem in anybody. I've coached a lot of people in health and fitness, from just like basic health goals all the way up to like trying to reach like serious bodybuilding goals. I'm sorry if I'm like shouting. It's like I can hear my dog. Like, he just drinks so loudly. Unbelievable. But I've coached a lot of people on a lot of different fitness goals, and I've never found a single person who, was really lacking in protein. I found that people, when they find that they're not getting strong enough fast enough, or they're not gaining mass enough, 90% of it really comes down to like calories, that they need to consume more calories in general. Anyway, so I hope that kind of helps and answers your question. I know that was a really long-winded response. If you guys have any other questions, I'd be super open to it. But recuperation, or Jules says, I'm the classic skinny guy. I'm the classic skinny, good for resistance aerobic body type. I've mountain biked for the last 25 years. I hate my skinny arms. Yeah, well, I can almost guarantee that if you mountain bike a lot, you probably have some big legs. Your legs are probably jacked. but your arms just don't get as much resistance training. And so what I would say to you is, number one, mountain biking requires a huge amount of calories to put out the kind of energy that's required to have that kind of energetic output. So number one, says that's right. Yeah, no, I guess almost guaranteed. Everybody that I know that bikes a lot, especially, their legs are massive. And so the question is, number one, are you mindfully eating a lot? You probably need to be eating a lot to gain the kind of mass that you want in your upper body. And then number two, you need some kind of resistance training for your upper body. Now, there doesn't have to be anything too specific. I would say that the best thing that you could do right now, if you don't have a gym membership and you're like, I already do all this mountain biking, I don't want to have to go to the gym. I would say that every 3 days, so 1 day on, 2 days off, and then on the third day, you do it again, right? You do push-ups. And I would say like try to keep really slow, deep push-ups, really emphasize the form, try to learn about push-up form. And this is why you got to watch my workout videos, man. So you really emphasize the form with your push-ups, really try to feel into those muscles and just stress your chest out, stress your arms out, maybe some pull-ups as well. But really push-ups and pull-ups once every 3 days, give your body a really good chance to recover. Only when I've quit, I've gained some muscle when I'm doing weights. When you quit weed, you mean? Interesting. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie to you, Jules. There's almost no science behind that, right? So there's no scientific reason why if you smoke weed, you would lose the muscle. What could be happening is like you're becoming lazier and you're not working out as much, or you're not resting as much, because rest is what actually builds the muscle. Faded Goat says, yo, can we talk? Faded Goat, lay it on me, dude. Let me know whatever you want. Me and Jules are just having a conversation real quick about gaining muscle. But so cannabis does not play a role in your metabolism. It doesn't actually do anything to your metabolism. It may make you hungrier. It may limit your hunger, but these are, and from what I understand, these are more neurological issues. This is like cannabis interacting with your mind and encouraging you to feel hungrier, right? Or feel less hungry. That's what happens to me. I feel less hungry when I smoke usually. But I don't think weed accelerates metabolism. We can look that up. Somebody Google that real quick. Does weed accelerate metabolism? I don't think it does. But it might be messing with your rest or something. I mean, you and I can have a conversation if you want. Send me an email. My email is in my YouTube, but send me an email and you and I can have a one-on-one and talk through all of this stuff and I'll help you figure it out. But why many stoners tend to be skinny? Yeah, I mean, they tend to be skinny because they when you're stoned all the time, you're not focused on, what's the word? Like you're not focused on, like fitness goals as much. Now I found for myself, that wasn't so much the case for me because fitness was really important to me. And so even though I was smoking, I was still working out, I was still eating a lot. But we can kind of figure out what you're going through. Yeah, man, I would say that the biggest thing that you probably need to focus on is number one, well, 3 things. With gaining muscle, there's 3 things. There's always 3 things, right? Are you doing the proper resistance training? So if you want to gain upper body mass, you have to be doing upper body resistance training, push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. You got to do them well. So you have to do good quality workouts, really stress those muscles out. Number 2 and 3 kind of go hand in hand, right? It's like you have to make sure that you're focusing on recovering. You have to make sure you really got to give yourself plenty of time to recover. And then you have to eat plenty of food or calories to reuptake that energy. And of course, protein to build the muscle. But again, protein's almost never a problem. A lot of people will argue you need 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. You need way less protein than that. I'm talking maybe zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass. And so that's a more complicated thing to calculate. I might have a video on my channel. I'll make a video if you want me to make a video about that. But those are the three things, right? You have to make sure that you're working out enough, stress those muscles out. You have to make sure that you're eating enough and make sure that you're eating enough to recover. And then make sure that you're giving yourself plenty of rest. So ideally, at least 7 hours of sleep per night. Ideally 8-9 hours of sleep per night. But yeah, man, I mean, it might just be that cannabis is making you not do as much. That tends to be what the case is. But I'll look up the science, but I don't think that cannabis like accelerates metabolism necessarily. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does. Faded Goat says, I was 2 weeks sober and smoked some joints this weekend, and I was really addicted to the carts before and haven't smoked that, but regularly bud, and I don't feel any different when I quit. Okay, but when you said you're 2 weeks sober and then you smoked over the weekend, are you right back to smoking again, Faded Goat? Or did you quit and then you smoked over the weekend, but now you're like back to quitting? Or did you feel like you smoked because you didn't experience any difference? I was really worried about being a heavy smoker again, but then I got told I worry about things too much, and I think he was right, and it's all about self-control. Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing. Most people would argue that you will not experience a massive change. Like you won't experience like a real genuine shift in your cognition until, weeks, if not months. Most people say 3 to 6 months is when you'll really notice any difference. I noticed a pretty big difference in the beginning, but a lot of people are different. Everybody's different. I've seen a lot of people who the first few weeks even are like just hell. They're like sweating all the time. They're anxious. They can't control their emotions. For me, it was the opposite. I just felt awesome. Like day 3, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I have so much energy. I feel so positive. There was negative, like there was depression in there too, but it was mostly like I was feeling again. I hadn't felt for the last time. Faded says, I'm doing my homework and still have the same motivation as I did before I even smoked this weekend. Okay. I mean, good for you. So I think it's totally up to you. I mean, everybody's different, right? I don't even know why I brought a fork. I just eat everything with my hands. I did too. I felt happier. I felt very happier and better because my brain wanted to do something it feels like it couldn't do. And that's a big part of it too, right? Like you accomplished something. Sorry for eating with my mouth full. Lol. And I think that was a big part of it for me too. Like I felt like I accomplished something and I was proud of myself. And the thing is, like when I'm stoned all the time, it's like when you get high, you're like, well, I'm high. But then as you come down from being high, and if you smoke all the time, you don't even the high doesn't last that long anyway. For me, it's like when I'm quote unquote sober, I just feel like I'm weighed down all the time. And when you change something you feel like you can't change, it shifts your brain into, yeah, absolutely. It shifts your brain into a better mindset. And everything is possible, but the fact I smoked, my brain knows I can smoke and still be fine the next day. And that's the thing. Maybe you can. For me, I don't feel that so much, right? When I get high, it's like there's a degree of slowing down the next day. And it's like there's like another, it's like there's a day that you smoke and then the day that you recover. A lot of people say that it's the same for it's the same for people that drink. Faded Goat says, yeah, I feel down all the time. But yeah, Jules, I would love to know what you think, Jules. Caligula says, Privet, Zach. I am Dimitri. Cock dela in 2025. My dog, I don't know what cock dela means, but privet to you as well. Faded Goat says, but it's my negative thought on the weed that was making my life so negative. And I think positively about everything. And my positivity internally is working. Yeah. Dude, that's huge. And that's important, right? I'm working on that myself, like trying to be more grateful. I do find that I don't feel very grateful right now. I feel like I'm trying to like force a lot of things in my life. And I need to change that. I need to focus on gratitude and like appreciation and flow. Because for the most part, life is pretty good. You know? Kaklela means, how are you? I'm very well, Caligula. How are you? Where in the world are you, Caligula? I know Privyet is Russian. So greetings from your American friend in the United States. And I hope that you're well as well, Caligula. Recuperation says, 1, clear head. 2, no fear. Clear lungs. When sober, I don't dwell on the past. I feel like weed makes me dwell on the past. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. And now I feel like being sober, I'm able to finally integrate the feelings of like self-reflection with presence. I feel like when I was high all the time, it was like two different things. Like I was only able to reflect when I was high. And I was only able to be present in the first few minutes of being high. Oh, excuse me. And so that's kind of what it was like. Faded Goat says, that's what weed really did to me. Makes me procrastinate and dwell in the past on a lot more than I did now. So I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of been my experience, is like I couldn't be present and reflect at the same time. And the reflection was more like shame. It was more like, oh God, why did I do that? Why did I say this? But now it's like I do all of it at the same time, and it feels really empowering, I would say. That was when you were smoking every single day. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, like I always smoked every single day, for real. Ash says, I smoked for 45 years, have 3 trades. Life is good, have no regrets. Hey, good for you, Ash. I do think a lot of it just comes down to like mindset. But you know, the science don't lie, and there are developmental things that do happen to a person. There are risks that you are more susceptible to. But again, like there's always risks in life, right? So it's like what sacrifices are you willing to make, and are they really that significant? We got Poignant Counterpart on Twitch. Poignant Counterpart. What's going on? Unfortunately, you are a bot who is asking if I want cheap viewers. I personally have no idea how to grow on Twitch. But once in a while, you get like a cool person or two who's like, yo, just came across your stream randomly. And I'm like, hell yeah, I have no idea how you did that. But appreciate you being here. So Poignant Counterpart, if you're a real person and you're just spamming to get, make some cash, I totally understand. But anyway. All right, guys. Well, if nobody else has any other questions, I'll give you guys like a couple minutes if you want to drop another question. But Recuperation says, I smoked for 30 plus years. I've been in a process of quitting the last 2 years. Unfortunately, I can't last more than 5 months. Wait a minute. How many times have you lasted 5 months? And have you only been trying to quit for 2 years? Because just from when I read that comment, like I smoked for 30 years, over the past 2 years, I've been trying to quit, but I can't get past 5 months. I think you should reframe that. I mean, how many times have you made it to 5 months? Honestly, Recuperation, or Jules, I mean, I almost kind of knew that I did not like weed the first time I did it. Not like it was really stressful the first few times. And granted, I was young, and it was like I was running away from things. I was hiding from people, right? I couldn't smoke on my own, or like had to be with my friends. We had to like go out in the woods. Like you still have to go home and like hide from your parents. And so like yeah, there was a lot of anxiety, but there was always anxiety. I mean, even when I was old enough that I didn't have to worry about what people thought about me. It didn't make me feel awesome. I mean, it didn't, right? But like, I always kind of knew that it wasn't really for me. It wasn't like actually super for me. And so like, yeah, I've been smoking since I was 15, dude. So 13 years of smoking weed. Not all that time was constant, but like, since I was 18 years old, I've smoked weed every day. And since I was like 22, I've smoked weed multiple times a day, every day. And I kind of always knew I didn't want to do that. But I couldn't not do it. And so it's like, I have many, like I'm talking 50, 60 times I told myself I wanted to stop smoking weed. This is the longest I've gone. Right? 35 days is the longest I've gone in 13 years of smoking this shit. And so when you say, I've only wanted to quit for 2 years and I've only made it 5 months max, like, that's great. And what happened after that? Did you start smoking again every single day? Did you just smoke one time? I think that's great, Jules. I think that's really good. Logan Summers, administrative something, says, I started watching you when you posted your video of 1 week sober. I have not commented due to words being etched permanently online and jobs not being okay with medical cards, but you're inspirational. Keep it up, man. 2 months, always the toughest point. Yeah, okay, sweet, Logan. Yo, Logan, thank you so much for those words. I really appreciate that and totally understand. I don't know. I just don't fear being doxxed or anything, but I totally get where you're coming from, and I really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. 2 months is always the toughest part. Well, I will keep you guys updated every step of the way. 35 days for me so far, so I'll keep you in the loop. I don't know, like, again, my take is like, I don't know if I'll ever smoke again or not. What I do know is that I will never go back to being a chronic smoker. The life sober is just so much better. It's so much better. Like, in every single way, it's infinitesimally better. Yeah, somebody just said, Sad Cloud just said, after smoking for so long to not smoking at all, it's like a new kind of high. It literally is. Like, I feel like I'm not weighed down all the time. I feel like I'm not constantly questioning my own cognition. I feel like I don't struggle for memory at all, and it's only fucking 30 odd days. So I'm like, wow, if people are like, it really only gets great at 30 days, 60 days. I'm like, or pardon me, like 60 days, 90 days, 180 days. I'm like, oh my God. So you're telling me that it's going to get even better than this? I'm looking forward to that, man. Jules says, last time I did 5 months. Others were 3 months periods, but I have a severe dreaming nightmare issues doing. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Jules, my dreams have been fucked up. Like, just to put it bluntly, my dreams have been insane. They're all scary. They're all violent. I always think I'm going to be attacked with firearms. I don't know, man. That's part of the course. But I just want you to know, Jules, that like when you say I made it 5 months, I made it 3 months in the last 2 years. That's incredible. And I think you're an inspiration. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. And I will subscribe to your channel, no doubt. What is anhedonia? Anhedonia will hit you sooner or later. Faded Goat says, please keep doing what you're doing. Faded Goat, I got you covered. I will be making these videos as long as I'm alive, baby. As long as y'all keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Marijuana says, facts though, chronic smoking is depressing. Most def. It's I think it's hell. I don't have any other way to like put it. It like I get it, you know, kids in Gaza are getting blown up and shit, and that's tragic. When I like for me, smoking all the time is awful. Um, it feels horrible. And it's like you're just smoking to kind of take the edge off. You're just smoking to like get rid of that horrible feeling. Faded Goat says, I'm going to go get all my homework just so you know the videos of you before you quit talking about the issue I was literally going through helped me power through quitting weed and you're changing lives. Hey, dude, I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot to me. And listen, if you guys have specific videos you want me to make content about, if you want me to talk about specific things, I'm more than happy to make a video about it. Like I said, I know that I know that I may never have another banger video ever again, and I don't care about that. You know, I just record whatever comes to my mind, and that video just happened to, you know, hit 750,000 views, and probably will go to 1 million. And you know, it's just a random thought that came to my mind, and so anything that you guys want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to. Madman DYT says, I struggle with weed and tobacco and only stopped trying last night after I collapsed on the floor from lack of blood flow to my brain for some reason. Wow, that's intense. You know what? Sometimes just crazy shit happening to you is a great way to realize that there's no other way to change. You're doing better than my grandparents, homie. My grandparents have both ended up in the hospital multiple times from, you know, type 2 diabetes related issues, and they still refuse to change anything. Don't eat any differently. Don't exercise at all. Some people just are not destined to you know, contribute anything to the world, to themselves. Jules says, guess we're all different. I smoked way too long. Guess it'll be harder. Yeah, Jules, I mean, I think that's the reality, right? Like the less time you spend being chronically addicted to cannabis, like the easier it is to quit. And so it's inevitably going to be harder for you. And so I feel for you, but you can do it. And you've already come so far. I mean, again, Jules, 5 months, 3 months. In the last 13 years, I have not gone any longer than 30 days without smoking. And in the past, it's only because I left the country. I went to another country. I didn't know where to get weed. I mean, I kind of did. But the anhedonia thing, like, I'm like, you know, maybe it will hit me. Yeah, the dreams, marijuana, you got it correct. The dreams are nuts. Like, my dreams so far are terrifying. I woke up, I had a dream the other night where I literally woke up sobbing. And it wasn't even that, it wasn't scary, it was just deep. Literally, I was playing laser tag with my sisters, and all of a sudden, Dave Portnoy is in our house playing laser tag with us. And me and my sisters kind of started bickering. And Dave Portnoy pulled out a picture of himself as a teenager. And all of a sudden, it was like so obvious how different he was, like how much older he was compared to him being a teenager. And he was like, you know, life is just a blip. And that just broke me. And I woke up like sobbing, man. I don't even know. Jules said, I guess you're right, man. The abstinence syndrome don't seem to be hitting you too hard. Yeah, I got lucky, Jules. But, you know, I think it was, for me, I had just wanted to do this for so long. I'd wanted to do this for so long. And I quit. Like, I kind of cut back for a few days. Like, the first week, I cut back to just smoking at the end of the day, like at 10 p.m. And then after that, the next week, I was smoking every other day at 10 p.m. And then at that point, I went cold turkey after that. But then, so you're saying you smoked chronically from 16 to 50. So look, man, you've been much deeper. So your journey is going to be much harder, just the way it is. But you can do this, right? Keep pushing, keep updating us. And you know, I believe in you, bro. I definitely do. Red Lego says, first time tuning in live. What up, Red Lego? I've been having harrowing nightmares. That's the most difficult part for me so far. Yeah, dude, my dreams have been insane. They all involve like being robbed at gunpoint, basically. That's literally every dream that I've had is like somebody pulls a gun on me. Cold turkey for a similar time. Cool. Yep, I'm cold turkey now for 35 days, I believe. Faded Goat says the more comfortable you get with something, the more you want to do it because that's where you're comfortable at. Yeah, absolutely. That's your problem solving mechanism. So anytime you experience stress, that's what you go to. Is like you go towards THC because that's what your brain associates with overcoming the problem. And then if you're quitting THC, that's a massive problem. And so now you're even more likely to go smoke. And that's what's happened to me in the past is like, I've tried to quit smoking. I've stressed myself out. I've ended up smoking even more after that. Do I regret those experiences? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I was just trying my best. And I don't think there's anything wrong with ever trying your best. That's all any of this is about, is just pushing yourself. Try again, over and over and over. Red Lego says, your videos really help me to stay on track. Keep it up. Hey, appreciate you, Red Lego. Well, if you all keep watching them, I'll keep making them. I do appreciate you guys showing up and giving me the feedback. It means a lot to me. Red Lego says, my first dream, I legit thought I developed some sort of dementia or psychosis and would never remember another conversation. Interesting. I've had some fucked up dreams too, homie. Ash says, smoking pot gives you a feeling you can't achieve as a straight person. So what are you saying? Weed lets you experience being a little gay for a little bit? I don't know, bro. Being gay is in for real. Being gay is the new goth. It's cool. So I mean, yeah, maybe smoking weed does make you a little gay. That's pretty badass. Maybe that's why I ended up being a little gay, you know? Because I started smoking weed and then I was like, you know, come on. Can't be much wrong with, you know, doing a little gay stuff and bada boom, bada bing. Now I'm a bisexual. That part was true. The rest of it was complete bullshit. I think I get what you're saying though, Ash, and I don't know if I agree with you. Like, smoking weed's pretty rad, but not when you become chronically addicted to it. Then it fucking sucks. So that I will not be able to relate to you on. Jules says, Young says that nightmares are brain purges. It's like the computer defragmenting in our head. Got to be strong. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's true, right? And I am going to make a video about like dream interpretation, because I do think dream interpretation is incredibly valuable for a person to grow in their own psychological capabilities. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to wrap up my breakfast here. Got a couple other comments. I'll just read these real quick. Faded Goat says, if you like dick, you like dick. Weed isn't making you like dick. Yeah, I don't think that's actually what Ash meant. I think Ash just did not word that well at all. Red Lego says, do you have any trouble seeing your friends that you usually smoke with? So Red Lego, here's the thing. I moved away from my hometown. I moved 5 hours away to a totally different state. I guess I could go out of my way to try to find some weed here, but I will admit, yes, when you're around people that smoke all the time, it's very, very hard not to smoke. And that was my ultimate, problem. Logan says, I will say the dreams are crazy. After so many years of not dreaming, you almost forget that dreams exist. Definitely takes some time getting used to. Yeah. Red Lego says, my dreams are very clear themes about things I worry about when I'm awake. Yeah, me too, kind of. Trill says, I'm not getting more so nightmares, but damn, I'll tell you, after giving up the Zod, the dreams are vivid. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mine are, they're not all bad. I mean, recently they've gotten a little less bad. Like the other night when I had that dream about Dave Portnoy, it wasn't a bad dream. It was a deep dream. Hit me emotionally like a train for sure. But it's like, I also acknowledge maybe this is just what I have to go through right now. I keep saying I'm gonna like end the live and then I get like 300 other messages. I had a dream me and Damian Lillard was about to fight. I don't even know who Damian Lillard is, but I hope that's not like some UFC fighter or something. Red Lego says, "Damn, are you the reason Dame got injured?" Yes, because C-Trill kicked Damian Lillard's ass in his dream, and then bro woke up with a limp. Jules says, "Being anxious is a factor when nightmares, but damn." Oh, he's an NBA player. Okay. Oh, dude, you can't beat up an NBA player. Being anxious is a factor when nightmares, but damn, it's what I miss. The THC is the only thing stops rushing brain. Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing, right? You've developed a habitual pattern of leaning on the THC to numb yourself out. And so the way I look at it is like you have an emotional wavelength that looks like this, right? And weed just makes it go like this. A lot of people think it's like, oh, it makes me feel really. It's like, nah, bro, if you're being honest, weed takes your emotional wavelength and like just numbs the fuck out of everything. And so once you let go of the weed, it's like you're back to going like this. And so you're experiencing like, whoa, shit is nuts, man. Red Lego says, "I notice the pattern most when I go for a walk." Yeah. I mean, the first couple weeks, I was like, every single thing that I did, I was like, man, it would be so much better to smoke weed right now. You know? Definitely being out high. Or out high, yeah. Definitely being outside was a big one. Every time I would go outside, I'd be like, oh man, I would love to be at like I would see like a little rock outcropping or something, like a good spot to like sit down and be like, dude, how nice would it be to go sit on that rock and smoke a joint right now? I feel that. Yeah, for sure. I relate to that for sure. Fade Goat says, "Being addicted to weed makes you bipolar." Yeah, dog. I mean, it does. It does. I'm a totally different person. I have this memory actually. This still sticks in my mind. There's this friend I used to have in high school. He and I kind of have drifted apart, as many of old friends do. You know, inevitably you like grow apart from people. Although I don't know why I really ended, like, I don't know why my friendship with this person lasted as long as it did, because there was a lot of hierarchical kind of energy. But I remember my man said something to me one time that has stuck with me to this day. And I don't know why that phrase alone, I mean, it's just like low confidence, right? Like people say things about you, and when you don't have a lot of confidence, you kind of remain in their circle. But he said, "Nobody likes Zach when he's high." And that still sticks out of my mind, right? When he said that. And I kind of got it. Like I was sort of like, I was a little like awkward. I was a little like jumpy. I was a little like excessively curious when I would smoke weed, especially back then. Why did I bring this up? What were we talking about? I don't even remember. Okay, well, there's evidence. Clearly, my brain hasn't fully recovered yet. Lol. But yeah. I don't know. I totally forget what the point was. Ash said, "Why is it so bad? It's been used for millions of years." Yeah, bro. I mean, Ash, I don't think you're really picking up the point of why any of us are here. I don't think any of us in this chat are like, weed is evil. It's a horrible thing. Right? But it's like the same thing as like, why can some people go out and have a drink once in a while? You know? And they're totally fine. And yet some people just become raging alcoholics. I don't know if any of you have ever known anybody who's like a psychedelic head, but some people would be like, Why can some people like drop acid once in a while to have a great time? Well, some people, just can't stop doing it. I knew a dude who would literally take like acid, he would drop it into his fucking eyes multiple times a day, all the time. He was always tripping. That's the thing, dude. It's because the people in this chat have developed an unhealthy relationship with cannabis. We don't hate it, or at least I don't hate it. I think in many ways it's a miracle drug. When it comes to like chronic illness, chronic depression, PTSD, these kinds of things. But we have developed an unhealthy relationship with it, and that's just the fucking reality for us. Maybe you have too, and you just haven't acknowledged it yet. I find that to be the case with a lot of my stoner friends. Faded Goat says, no, your hesitation was talking about why your friend says nobody likes Zach when he's high. Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's just because I know like the way that I acted was a little bit cringy or weird or like awkward to be around. But I think a lot of that was just like my ADHD, perhaps like low key. I don't know if I have autism. I don't think I demonstrate like enough tendencies of autism to be like I have autism, but I definitely have like pretty severe ADHD. And when I would smoke, it was just off the fucking walls. And I think he was one of those people that kind of went out of his way to try to be popular. He wanted to be with like the in crowd. But his little brother was like part of my friend group, and I think he like really policed his little brother, so he would like spend a lot of time around us and perhaps didn't want to as much as he claims to. And so he would really point it out a lot, and that made me super self-conscious. Faded Goat says, was the friend you hung out with smoking as much weed as you? No, he wasn't. I mean, eventually he was, but not that particular guy. He was not. Yeah, growing apart from people. Okay, that's kind of what we were talking about. Growing apart from people, yeah. I think you read the bipolar comment before telling that story. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and okay, and that was the whole point, right? Was that my buddy I felt like I was a very different person high. And I think that was that was jarring for him. Especially because he was he kind of was like a controller. He wanted to like make things cool and make things like, and I think I just did not give him the sense of like, what is a person supposed to be like when they smoke weed? It's like, yeah, they're cool. They're like chilling and shit. But I wasn't like that. I mean, I was a little bit, but like, I also would get like, zoop, like I got to go create, like I got to go explore. And so, there are more negative aspects of like the whole bipolar comment, but we don't have to get into that right now. Red Lego says, I love weed. I'm just not meant to be doing it around the clock since I'm a kid. Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, Red Lego, whether you're a kid or not, nobody should be doing it around the clock. Unless like they have severe chronic pain or like they have like severe PTSD or something. Bro said, I see my friend's dad, who was a daily smoker from 12 to his mid-50s. Great dude, but he has a horrible memory. Yeah, and a lot of those guys are like, they're really gnarly, man. And like, there's like this kind of like numbed out energy. And it's like, yeah, on one hand, that's like kind of cool. And it's like a nice switch up from a lot of people who are like really type A and they're, like, must be this and this and that. But, Red Lego says, I wrote that with bad grammar. I meant I was smoking regularly since I'm a kid. I'm an adult now. Okay, yeah. My bad, I didn't read it. Yeah, I didn't read that correctly either. Logan says, I will say I've been eating more, picking up exercising to make up for it. Got a sit-up bench and free weights that I do every morning to stay positive. So, hell yeah, that's awesome. Faded Goat says, why did it make you self-conscious? I think because like deep down I had a lot of anxiety. I was nervous about a lot of things deep within myself. And like weed made that like impossible to ignore. It also made my anxiety very physical, so I felt like I was having an anxiety attack the whole time that I was high. And so it was like I was trying to contain something and I was like tripping out. And especially as a young person, it's like you don't want nobody to know that you're high. Like you don't want your parents to know or like other adults. like you're kind of always looking over your shoulder. That only got worse later in my life because I started selling weed. So like when I was like 17, like I started like actually selling it myself. And it was like on one hand I was making a lot of money, but on the other hand I was just constantly fucking scared. Yeah. And I remember that when I stopped selling weed, it was because actually one of my, you could call him a friend, one of my friend's dads found out. And this was a fucked up situation. Like he was really young. I like, this was like a friend of mine. She was a friend of mine. Her little brother and I ended up becoming pretty close. But he was a lot younger than me, and he was already smoking weed, but I would like give it to him, and I would hang out with him, and we would smoke together. It was not a good thing, not my proudest moment. But his dad found out, and his dad confronted me at my job. So I was lifeguarding at the time. So I was selling a lot of weed, but I was also lifeguarding. I was making fat bread at that point in my life. Um, I probably didn't need to do the lifeguarding. I just liked it. I was a swim team coach, so I enjoyed that. But dude, his dad confronted me, and like so many things happened. I was constantly worried that I was gonna get busted, because I was selling kind of a lot. And so I was like, man, if I get pulled over, and I would sell in weight, so I would sell to like, smaller distributors mostly. And so I was like, if I get pulled over, I could go to prison. And so there was just so much, I just had so much anxiety at this time. And then his dad found out. His dad confronted me at my job. He walked into my fucking job and like shouted at me all of this stuff. Luckily, it was in like a parking garage, so like I don't know if anybody else heard, but that shattered everything. I immediately stopped selling. Immediately, I and then like the anxiety just kind of melted away over the next year, and I was still smoking and stuff, but I just didn't. I had no fear anymore. I wasn't scared anymore, and so that totally changed me. Um, Jules says 80% of chronic users are men. That makes sense. Men are more intensive. It's like easier for us to be gravitating towards things that numb us out. Um, so I don't know, Faded Goat, if that may kind of answer your question. Because you knew what it was doing, right? It was hard to change that. Yeah, but again, I think it was the fear mostly. I was just scared. I was fucking scared all the time. I remember like one time, man, there's just so many moments where I'd literally be sitting in my house, like I literally thought cops were just gonna bust in my house all the time. Not really for any reason, because like I was scared, and then I was using the weed to numb out the fear, but the weed would just amplify the fear. Red Lego says, I've been losing weight. I have appetite issues, and I used to use it to encourage me to eat, hoping to get my diet more normal again. It'll get back there for sure. Yep. Also grew and sold for years, and that's normal, right? A lot of us have went through that. C Trill says, I was a plug too. Having all that gas definitely made me smoking every damn hour out the day, so I gave up both. Yep. Yeah, and I don't know why I kept again, I think I just kept smoking mostly because it was, I don't want to blame my friends. See, that's not I don't think that's fair to like blame the people in your life, but there was definitely an element of that. Like I would tell myself like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to smoke anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And then you're around your friends, and they're smoking, and it's like you just kind of make an excuse in your head. You're like, all right, it's probably fine. I could just do this real quick. And then you smoke, and then you're like back in the circle, and like I'm sure some of you can relate to that feeling where like you smoke, and then the second you smoke, it's like all you want to do when you're sober is smoke. And then the second you smoke, you're like, why did I do that? I don't want to be high, dude. I don't want to feel this way. That was me for years. I had that experience every single time I would smoke. I'd be like, oh God, I can't wait to smoke. I need to smoke. And then boom, you smoke, and you're like, man, I have no self-control. Why am I like this? But good for you, C Trill, for giving up both. I mean, I'm impressed. Faded Goat said, feeling so paranoid, I was paranoid I was going to get pulled over last night because one cop came out as I was coming out, another one was coming out behind me and drove away. Yeah. Isn't that fun that the police are so trusted in our society? Every single one of us looks at the police and feels so much safer, don't we? Red Lego says, being around friends is an easy excuse. My friends handed me a joint without asking me if I wanted it, and that's the last time I smoked. Yep. And that's how it is, right? You really have to kind of police yourself. Hey, Zach Attack, my third ever commenter on Twitch. What's going on, Zach Attack? Great name, by the way. Zach Attack says, I take breaks once in a while. Hey, man, hit that follow button. I go live a lot. So I built a following. Zach Attack, I know you can't see anybody on YouTube here, but I've built a following on YouTube by kind of documenting my journey overcoming smoking weed. But you know, no shame zone. I'm not here to like tell anybody like you have to quit. It's just kind of what I've gone through, and a lot of us are going through it. But appreciate you being here. Red Lego says, I told him about the experience and I prefer he not smoke in my presence. He respected it. Yeah, that's cool. Most of my friends are pretty respectful, but I would say that they do kind of give me a little bit of shame because they give me a little bit of shame because I've like told them I'm trying to quit many times over the years, and it's like I haven't followed through with it. Red Lego says, what's your Twitch? I'll follow you there too. I think if you just look up Zach Oy Official, ZACHOY Official. Yo, Zach Attack, you should put my user in the chat. Or wait, no, the YouTubers can't see it. Never mind. Zach Attack says, I understand. I take breaks to show myself I don't need it. That's good. I mean, I'm impressed by that. You know, that you can like police yourself. I think that's very impressive, and it's a good practice in self-moderation and self-control. Jules says, I was doing my 5 months sober, went on vacation to visit my longtime stoner friend down at the beach. It wasn't a good thing. There you go, dude. And I bet you smoked, didn't you? That's how it goes for me too. You know, like basically what was happening was, I'll give you just an example of a time period. So between when I was like 22 and 26, a lot happened. So I like dropped out of college. I'd been going to college for political science. And I dropped out because I wanted to start a business instead. I'm kind of like a serial entrepreneur in a way. And so I like was doing this marketing thing and I started making pretty good money. And so I dropped out of college. Political science is just a very depressing major in many ways. You realize like, man, a lot of things in this world are pretty fucked up. And a lot of the people in power just want to cling on to power. But so I dropped out, and then I had this buddy who lived in the inner city in Baltimore. So I'm kind of like from the Baltimore area, and I had a buddy who lived. He was like a manager at a gym, and his boss bought like this house in Baltimore. And if any of you know anything about like East Coast in old industrial cities, the hood is full of like nice old houses. I mean, nice in like the build. They're like dilapidated and shit. But he lived in this house that was like a huge house, and he lived there on his own, nobody else, and he paid $500 a month in rent. Needless to say, I was living with my parents, and so I spent a ton of time over at this dude's house. But he was a full-on smoker. Oh, Citro, you're from Baltimore too. Okay, yeah. So that was over on Roslyn Avenue, near like Hilltop Elementary. Is that what that school was called? It's literally 1 mile, not even 1 mile. It's like half a mile west of Mondawmin Mall. Literally, what's the fucking route the Mondawmin Mall is on? It's like damn near a mile west of that. It's a little avenue called Roslyn Avenue. But anyway, so he lived in a cool house. It was a big ass house. It was just him and this little dog that was basically abandoned near him. And it was just the three of us that we just, the dog and him and I, and we'd just be up in that house like tripping on copious amounts of acid and mushrooms and smoking tons of blunts. And it was like my little escape from reality in a way. But it definitely didn't help much. C-Trill says, I live around Towson. Okay, cool. Yep. A little bit north Baltimore area. As a Marylander, I've got many a friend who went to Towson. So, Zach Attack says, I've done it twice, currently on my second break. I noticed I didn't do it as often the second go around as I did the first go around. You mean you didn't do the break as long, or you didn't smoke as much after the second break? Faded Goat says, everything that's simple feels super intense in your head when you smoke weed. I'd say over time it doesn't as much, though. It doesn't as much, right? Zach Attack says, didn't smoke as often. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, you take a break. For me, it was like every time I would take a break, I would notice how much better I felt. But then there would be some catalyst event or something. Some catalyst event that would cause me to smoke much more regularly. Glitch says, anything close to, what do we got going on here? Glitch says, watching from the boonies in Kazakhstan. Red Lego says, am I tickled? Lol, I am tickled by someone calling Kazakhstan the boonies. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. If you've ever seen footage of out in the Eastern Europe or Northern Asia, it is most def the boonies. So, but hey, you know what, Glitch? Good on you, and sticking it out, homie. I hope they don't try to invade Kazakhstan. Red Lego says, I don't think it's wrong. I was just amused by the comment. Yeah. No, I mean, I think our idea of the boonies is perhaps different, but I can totally understand that take that Kazakhstan is the boonies. Ash says it's 60. I never abused it. We seem to grow up and slow right down. I mean, you're probably right about that, Ash. I mean, as a 28-year-old, I can't comment on the factors of age as much, but I will let you know once I get to that point how I feel. Part of me does look forward to being a cool old guy who smokes weed. Not that I think 60 is old. I genuinely think 60 is like middle age. I think when you hit like 75 or 80, like maybe you can call yourself an old guy. But I don't know. Maybe I just have like an over glamorized idea of what I'm gonna look like when I'm 60, or what I'm gonna be like when I'm 60 or 70. Red Lego says, at what age did you start? I started smoking weed when I was 15. Regular. Oh, Ash says, at what age did you start? Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious too, Ash. Like, how old were you when you started smoking? And like, how old were you when you started smoking a lot? Or every day even? 14, okay. Ash says, I feel like 40. Hey, there you go. Maybe the cannabis does keep you young in some ways. Glitch says, I'm from here, so I'm allowed to say it. It's true anyway. I did go to school in Phoenix, Arizona. C-Trill says, 2 weeks ago, I took a break for 1 week and then relapsed. After hitting the blunt again, I was so high. It literally made me feel uncomfortable, and I realized I don't really like the effects it had on me. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that for sure. And that's the thing, it's hard for me to really understand why I smoked, I stayed smoking, because a lot of the people I would meet over the years, and this is gonna be the last thing, I gotta take a dump, y'all. But this is the last thing I'll talk about. When I first started smoking weed as a young person, it made me feel bad, dude. Like the first few times were super uncomfortable. And so it's hard for me to really understand what kept me smoking consistently. The way I kind of justify it is it physicalized my anxiety. So anxiety that I already had, it made it feel physical. And so like it gave me an excuse to be like, oh, that's just like having an anxiety attack, but being like, this is why it's happening, so I can let go of control. Um, and so yeah, but like, man, like it did not feel that great. And so it's when a lot of people will tell me like, oh, I tried weed a few times and this is the way it made me feel and I didn't like it. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how it made me feel. Strange, strange. Anyway, all right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna bounce. Take it easy. Big shout out to Zack Attack. Zack Attack, hit that follow button. My sixth ever Twitch follower in all of time. So I'll remember you when we get to a million. But anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody. Faded Goat, Red Lego, C Trill, Ash, Jules, Glitch, and whoever else is in this chat. Big dub to all of you. Appreciate you guys all being here. Sticking with me, however interesting or not interesting these lives are. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and having a conversation. So until next time, take it easy. And once again, I go totally random. I'll post my Twitch on YouTube so you guys can see it. But yeah, if you guys have like specific schedules, I've been kind of asking for that recommendation of, are there specific times during the day that you want me to go live? But it tends to be whenever I go live, there's at least a few people that want to hang out and chat. So appreciate all of you guys. Very much appreciate the support. Take it easy. Much love. Have a phenomenal day. Bye-bye.